And now, from the Flat Earth capital, San Diego, California, USA, the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. Brought to you by Shadow Effects Productions, in association with Stainless Steel Emotions Music and Flat Earth Radio Live, The Ferret.
The Ferret.
The Ferret.
Flat Earth Radio Live is a part of the Flat Earth Media Group, otherwise known as FEMG. The Ferret.
The Ferret.
Well, good day and welcome to the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark, and I'm your host, Rick Lotek. How you doing out there? My co-host Mark will be along any minute now. We're getting ready to call him, because he and Randy Fisher are standing by on the other end. So we want to get them in here today. As you know, we're always so happy to look forward to Randy Fisher and his group and his family and everybody that's involved with him. We love getting him in here. And that's what we're trying to do right now. Hello, Randy. Can you hear me? Just give us a minute here. And once again, this is the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. It's wonderful to know that everyone's out there.
Hey, bro, give us about a few minutes and call me back in about 10 minutes. With 15 minutes, we'll set up at 7:30.
Got it.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. But don't let that fool you.
Go eat some.
But don't let that fool you, friends. Here's what'll happen next. We're going to just find out a few things from the Flat Earth Collective, something that will definitely interest all of us, and that is going to be something along the lines of this. Something I just found earlier today. I know this has been out there for a long time, but it's a production of Globe Busters. Everybody knows the Globe Busters guys, and we love their work, and we know them, and we're hoping to get them on the show one day so we can collaborate with them. But this is pretty much a collaboration right here.
Familiar with this guy, this channel? It's called UAP.
Like this, which is called
and
Faking Space.
It stands for Underrated Actual Physicist. And this guy is, he's amazing. I love his stuff. I just came across his stuff last week. I've been watching his videos like mad.
From a guy,
and
a YouTube producer.
He absolutely rips up the SpaceX feeds. And in fact, if you guys haven't seen this, this particular video, I did mirror it on our page. It's under a little bit different name than this. But he names it Caught Faking Space, early celebration when SpaceX thinks they got away with it on December 22nd, 2017. And of course, what it's about is...
So
many of you may remember that on the 22nd, there was this Arizona, I think it was an Arizona helicopter, right, that was taking footage of this thing. And they're going, what is this thing? We don't have any idea. And everybody it was a big mystery for the longest time. And then people figured out that it was this SpaceX thing, right?
Rick and Mark.
So that was kind of interesting. But what he does here is he basically breaks this down and shows you, from all these people that got it on video in this perspective, going across, I think, California, and you can see very clearly that it is going horizontally. There is no doubt about it that it's going horizontally. It is not going into space. He even shows that it appears to be releasing certain payloads. I think he counts 9 of them or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Of course, this is the one that supposedly released all the Iridium.
Started off 2018 with us.
Satellites, right? And I think we actually talked about that, back in December when that supposedly happened.
And once again,
how nonsensical it was, because they were basally just kind of tossing these
if you didn't know that by now,
makes you wonder how they get them inserted into orbit properly, and all that.
Let's
Are you guys familiar with this guy? This channel, it's called UAP. And it stands for Underrated Actual Physicist. And this guy he's amazing. I love his stuff. I just came across his stuff last week. I've been watching his videos like mad. And he absolutely rips up the SpaceX feeds. And in fact, if you guys haven't seen this, this particular video. I did mirror it on our page. It's under a little bit different name than this. But he names it Caught Faking Space, Early Celebration when SpaceX thinks they got away with it on December 22nd, 2017. And of course, what it's about is, many of you may remember that on the 22nd, there was this Arizona, I think it was an Arizona helicopter, right, that was taking footage of this thing. They're going, what is this thing? We don't have any idea. And everybody, it was a big mystery for the longest time, and then people figured out that it was this SpaceX thing, right? So that was kind of interesting, but what he does here is he basically breaks this down and shows you, from all these people that got it on video in this perspective, going across, I think, California, and you can see very clearly that it is going horizontally. There is no doubt about it that it's going horizontally. It is not going into space. It even shows that it appears to be releasing certain payloads. I think he counts 9 of them or something like that. It's pretty crazy. And of course, this is the one that supposedly released all the Iridium satellites, right? And I think we actually talked about that, back in December when that supposedly happened, how nonsensical it was because they were basically just kind of tossing these satellites out. But makes you wonder how they get them inserted into orbit properly. And all that stuff. But all that beside the point, it's very clear that when you look at this video, they never even made it into orbit. And in fact, it appears that there was a massive technical difficulty. And what's really cool is he highlights something that Jaron, you and I have talked about several times before, about when we look at this rocket, these rocket takeoffs, I mean, they literally just lumber. They go so slow. It takes them, 3, 4, 5 seconds to even clear the launch tower, right? So, I mean, they don't behave anything at all like any rocket that we've ever seen where, obviously, if it was a real rocket and it behaved like a rocket, the astronauts simply would not survive the G-forces, if it took off like, normal rockets do. So instead, they try and tell us, well, it's because it's so big that your perspective, it just makes it look like it's going that much slower. But, even if you watch the little mile per hour thing on the side, it starts out going really slow and all this stuff. So I had to wonder, and I asked the question, it's like, how do they keep that thing from toppling over, going at such a slow speed? And that's when Jaron and I got into this discussion about, well, maybe the upper part of the rocket is actually filled with helium or hydrogen or something like that. I think it's helium, not hydrogen, because hydrogen would be super explosive, and helium not so much, even though helium does have some interesting characteristics when it gets near a flame. And I think you had a video that demonstrated that, right, Jaron, when they got a party balloon too close to a flame and it kind of ignited orange. Is that right?
Yeah, it lit up somebody's hair on fire.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. So anyway, but this guy, he's basically pointing out what's exactly happening, and he's looking at these plumes, right? And they're telling us that it's the oxygen, the O2, the liquid O2 is being used as a coolant and also an oxidizer and all this stuff, right? Well, he makes note of several problems with that. One, that it would be extremely explosive, and it makes more sense that what's actually going on here is these streams actually start rising, and that's because the air within them is mixing with the helium, and it's causing these streams to actually go up. And it's pretty amazing. Of course, what's funny is somebody tried to debunk that. They sent me a video of somebody discharging an O2 tank into midair, and it's under pressure, and it's shooting it straight up. It's like, see, that's what's happening. It's like, oh my God. But anyway, it's funny to watch some of the people trying to debunk this. But then you get to scenes like this, right? And we've always thought that this looks really phony, but I've never been able to really put my finger on it as to what was going on. But when you watch this thing launch, right, it takes off, and it appears that what's happening here is there's no flame coming out here. What they're doing is they're firing up an extremely bright floodlight, right? And that floodlight is being projected onto probably, I don't know, carbon dioxide or something that's non-flammable, right? That's just going up. And there's really not any thrust being developed, because if you look at this, why is this plume allowed to go up, right? When you've got all of this stuff, all this thrust that should be just blasting it out to the side, and instead it's just leisurely rising up. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I was absolutely blown away when I saw that, and it's like, that's what it is. That's why it looks so fake, right?
Did you notice the flames being ignited from the bottom up when it just took, like, right as soon as it takes off? The flames start coming from the bottom of the ground, right there, from the bottom of the ground up.
Of course, the people, the ballers would say, well, that's because it's going down into a cavern area underneath it and then being ejected up. But, like I said, the things that are blatantly wrong with that is, first of all, if that was really O2 coming off the side, that would be really explosive down there, and that fire would set off an explosion like you wouldn't believe. Secondly, that thrust, look at it, she's saying, what thrust? Why isn't it blowing that cloud all over the place? Instead, it just rises so leisurely, oh, nothing, no big deal. So I think that what's going on there is, I don't know if it's partial CGI or what, but it's very clear that there is no huge force coming down from that rocket, because it should be blowing those things absolutely sideways, right? So pretty amazing stuff. And then
to lift that weight off the ground, you'd think it would just bust a hole in the ground.
You would think, yeah. But it doesn't. So, I mean, that's another thing that never really made a whole lot of sense. Are you guys familiar with this guy, this channel? This is called UAP. Apparently is an actual physicist. It stands for Underrated Actual Physicist. This guy channel, I published it this week, and it's doing quite well. It's well over 20,000 views, and I only published it a couple days ago. People are just going, oh my God, they're amazed at it, actually, and so was I. But so yeah, if you haven't seen this yet, you really need to see it, because I mean, that right there is so telling where it says what thrust. How can that be happening? How is that even possible that is happening, and not blowing a thrust of such magnitude is not blowing that stuff all over the place? It just rises and rises and rises. So pretty crazy stuff. So then today he releases another new video, and you gotta love this, because again he talks about these particular thrust problems. All right, so let's go ahead and play this, because this is great, once again. And in the description, he says, rocket science is supposed to be the pinnacle of the physical sciences, renowned for its apparent difficulty, as it bewilders even the smartest among us. What is so bewitching about it, however, is the fact that it is a complete scam. The ball rockets and backyard fireworks have nothing to do with these rockets. They used to fake outer space. Take your money and make it seem like the Bible isn't true and God doesn't exist. Okay, great. So the CGI thrust is exposed here as the satanic rocket is launched to prove evolution, life on Mars, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this, because, again, this guy is rapidly turning into another one of my favorite YouTubers, UAP. If you haven't seen him, I'll definitely have it in the show notes, and I have a feeling we'll be mirroring a lot of his work, because he really does some great stuff. So let's give this a listen.
Wow.
Everything's manipulated when it gets to a real photo of reality should only have a single vanishing point. But this has two, because there are the curved lines that meet at the top.
He knows the shit. But anyway, I wanted to mention
something
about that.
Looks like it says Satan's Mars lander.
Talking about those rockets. It's just utterly amazing to me that more people have not been able to look at.
And I guess they have the different size rocket boosters on purpose. Now, if you look at the holes in the side, is that really supposed to be that way?
This fiasco, this game that they like to
play. Cryogenically
they call it a rocket launch, but what it really is, first of all, the very shape of the rocket,
hydrogen maybe,
is indicative of the pyramids and the pylons. That's the reason why it's shaped like that.
And when something's really cold and then it becomes really hot and then really cold again,
and in Hollywood movies,
would be a lot of stress. I wouldn't.
They don't use rockets. They use.
And then here you have the wavy lines. That's obviously a manipulation.
In NASA's movies,
like
and I mean,
After Effects,
this is how I used to do it when I was a kid.
Digital
in
manipulation
in
to
school.
make it look like there's
in NASA's movies, it's always.
But it's actually waving the frame of the picture, which tells you.
So everybody can sit there and watch it.
Overlay that was used.
My teacher would say, Richard, you're not in space.
CGI.
But anyway,
the
in
light
NASA,
comes from behind the middle.
In NASA, this is the reason.
Look, even
there's a reason behind this.
Wavy.
Okay, there actually is a great deal of technology involved in the show.
I think they use a combination
instead of a rocket.
CGI.
Think about how boring this would be for television.
Okay, the orange
lights
you ready?
On.
It's
3,
time for the
2,
steam to
1.
come out, and the orange lights will light up the steam as long as it doesn't get in the way of itself.
Or how about this?
Okay,
this is more closer to the reality of a rocket ship.
And then look.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Where'd it go? How boring. How are you going to attract a television audience like that? You don't want your rocket to do like a rocket would do in reality. When I was a child, I used to play with Estes rocket models, ESTES, Estes. And I've never seen one. My dad and I even built a model, a replica of the Saturn V.
It looks as if there's an explosion that was set off slightly in front of the rocket, and nothing is coming out of the thrusters.
It takes a slow takeoff because when it rises up, it builds up to the crescendo.
Pyramid.
So you can stand there and all your friends will go, wow,
it seeks to fabricate evolution
and that's
life
the idea
Mars,
that they sold us when
war.
they sold us the rocket.
And did you know that steam?
So my dad and we put this thing together. It was
rocket exhaust makes.
It was made out of about 4
fake space. Look, if it were producing thrust, would that steam just float up in a leisurely way?
It was all clustered together.
The steam that's coming out of the back
the reason
of the rocket,
this thing had
just hang in the air
5
and not be pushed down.
It was called the Saturn V.
Down at the rate
was because it had 5 rocket engines.
Get thrust out of that.
Saturn V.
It's like being pulled on a wagon at 5 miles an hour, and you throw oranges out the back of the wagon at 5 miles an hour.
My dad and I
so
put this thing together.
Straight down on the ground, and you're leaving oranges behind you, and you're saying, "This wagon's moving because I'm throwing out the oranges." So if this is a rocket, why is the exhaust igniting at
we put this thing
maybe
together
10 or 20 yards
behind
it? How can that produce thrust?
Just like it did on
and
television.
If it's throwing out the rocket fuel, and it's not even
invited all my school chums along, and they was like, "Oh man, this is going to be great."
What good is it? And
couldn't wait. Had never seen
like
what it was been like. Didn't have a clue.
Hence NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and
but according to it was advertised,
NASA Rocket
it was going to rise slowly and leave the big dust, just like you see on TV, leave the big billowing clouds and everything.
We all deal with it different ways.
So we couldn't wait. We're all standing there, and the thing looked majestic, standing there. All 5 engines were wired together, and it went perfectly. Nothing failed. The thing ignited all 5 engines at exactly at the right time as soon as I threw the switch. And did it rise up off of the...
yeah.
Did it rise up off of the...
Mars Phoenix lander is headed for the north polar region of Mars, and its goal will be to search for habitable regions.
Just like NASA portrays us on television.
Did it? In the past.
Man,
the phase that we're in
the second those 5 engins were touched off, that thing, it did not even rise. It did not even take off straight up in the air like a rocket ship. It went more like some kind of a Chinese firecracker. In a circle all around. Because none of that jet propulsion of none of those 5 engines were being could possibly
be
directed
for me,
together into
this
a flame.
Really answers a lot of questions because it
right,
does. It appears like what's
welder,
happening is they're
bring
shooting
that kind
out
of
some
a
sort of
flame
non-flammable type of
off
thing.
Of 5 separate
or,
jets.
You know, I don't know exactly
the
what
truth
they're using
is that
for
there's
propellant,
always
but we
a lateral
know that
force.
This thing is not behaving
and what that means is that
like any
the
rocket
power
that we've
it's
ever
firing,
seen. We've all made the comment about oh look at the speed. It's going supposedly 5,000 kilometers per hour. Now it's going 8,000, 10,000 kilometers per hour.
All the power coming out of the jet and rocket engines does not
and
just
they
go
also
downward.
show the elevation
a lot of it goes laterally
climbing when the rocket is clearly going completely horizontal.
According to NASA,
what they're doing
they're
here is they're simply making a light show.
The use of,
they are ejecting some sort of possibly CO2 out the back of it,
control surfaces,
and then hitting it with very ultra bright lights. Maybe there's a little bit of holographic technology in those towers that surround it.
You can.
That may be assisting this. But one thing that is almost certain,
because even titanium,
at least it is certain in my opinion, is that
and the blasts from those engines are way
whatever they're doing is not rocket
propulsion. But you heard Jaronism in there.
I think that probably what is happening is, like Jaron and I kind of
that same lateral force, and that's what's important. That's what I wanted you to hear. He's talking about that force that those engines. He's asking, why do those engines burn downward like that? When you was a kid, didn't you ever play around? I mean, you're not supposed to play with a big lighter, but come on, not so much as a kid as in college. We mess around. We tried to take a big lighter and say, if you could get that to look like one of the NASA rocket engines firing downward. But yet, no matter how we tried to fire this thing downward, straight down, to make it look like what you see in the video here, the flame always backed up and burned your fingers. There was no downward force. There was nothing pushing down. And I want you to know right now, before we switch over to Mark and Randy, that rockets fire like this. Where'd it go? And in order to get a so-called rocket to fire like what they're showing you on television for these so-called rocket launches, it requires a different kind of lifting force. And not only that, the one thing that the Nazis and Werner von Braun and his crew discovered was that you can't really control an ICBM. So Jaronism raises a very important question: are these things really rockets? We also know that hydrazine, which is a vital component of the jet fuel, hydrazine. This is when SpaceX launches. You notice that there's huge orange billowy clouds, orange-white billowy clouds. But yet, if you remember back during the NASA stage, when they took off from the moon in the lunar ascent stage of the lunar LEM module, it was fueled by hydrazine and oxygen and a mixture of helium and all kind of stuff as well. Yet when it took off from its launching pad, we didn't see any of those orange billowy clouds or anything of that nature. Now, according to NASA, that's because, well, it's obvious, it's because of the absence of atmosphere on the lunar surface. But that doesn't make sense either, because the fuel supposedly has all the components that it needs for combustion mixed into the fuel, and that includes the oxygen and anything else. There's the fuel, the oxygen, and the heat is all mixed into the mixture. And the reason is because there's, like they said, well, there's no atmosphere on the moon. But if that's the case, even so, and all that helium or all that hydrazine fluffy cloud doesn't follow the so-called rocket all the way up into the air. This fluffy cloud, I guess they would have us to believe that. I remember my dad's old Ford station wagon. When he would start that thing first thing in the morning, it would make a fluffy white cloud too, But pretty soon after it got warmed up, that white fluffy cloud would go away. So I guess that's what NASA wants us to believe, ladies and gentlemen. They want us to believe that, rockets, they run pretty much like an old 1969 Ford. You got to get them warmed up. As they first start out, they're a little bit smoky, yeah, but as they get warmed up, they get up there in the air a little bit and they smooth out. That's what they want you to believe. Go ahead and fall for it. You go right ahead and you fall for it. But I'm here to tell you now, friends, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. Don't fall for it anymore. We're tired of falling for the concept that rockets go up like this and that spaceships go off like this, you know, and then there's the real rockets that you can buy and fire off and they go. It just doesn't make sense. But I'm going to show you right now how to make sense of that. And that is to understand something that we call NASA physics. NASA physics is very difficult to understand. But it's not really that hard. All you got to do is say to yourself, when NASA tells you something that doesn't make sense, it's, oh, that must be some of that NASA physics. See, now we're making sense. The thing about NASA physics is that you can tell right away, you can always tell when you are dealing with NASA physics. And the reason for that is because, boy, that one didn't work, did it? There's one. How you like all this new artwork that we're working on here? You can only see this on YouTube, by the way, so you need to be checking us out on YouTube. By the way, welcome to our YouTube audience. This is Radio Free Europe. No, actually, what you're listening to here is ferlive.com, The Ferret. And yeah, it's weird. We're a radio station, ain't we? Figure that one out. You're like, you guys are, no, let me get this right. You guys are a radio station, but you know, here you are on YouTube. Hey, is that cool? Let's see you top that one, huh? No, I'm not saying it's that difficult. You can't top it. I'm just saying, here we are. You know, we're Flat Earth Radio Live. We have other hosts that are going to follow in the same direction. This is what we call phase 2 of our operation. This is when we initiate the, what are you going to call it? Consider Noah's Ark. For the last 6 months, my associates and I here at Flat Earth Radio Live have been constructing an ark. And what you see around you, all these windows and all this neat stuff, the fact that we're live on the radio and streaming on YouTube is that ark. Along the way, during the construction of this ark, we questioned. We said the same thing that Noah must have asked. We said, will the animals come? Pardon the airplane. Yes, the animals will come. We always knew that. We said, when the time is right, the animals will come. You friends are the animals. I'm sorry to put you in that perspective, but the hosts are beginning to come. We have attracted some very talented, very Hollywood style hosts that, and we're going to showcase them right here in this same format that you're looking at me right now. So, and this is the way it's going to go. So, welcome to our YouTube audience. Also, welcome to our podcast audience. So we're going out 4 ways here at Flat Earth Radio Live. First is our radio station, which is 24 hours and 7 days a week, Flat Earth oriented news, talk, and music. And also we're going out live on YouTube right now, streaming. Also the YouTube archives, all of our videos for later watching. And number 4 is the podcasting. 4 ways simulcast right here on flatearthradiolive.com. The Ferret, that's who we is. We's Flat Earth Radio Live. Saying, hey, scope it out. We come to Detroit. We come to see. We kicked its ass. Man, you know what I'm saying? We Flat Earth Radio Live. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And then come up to me, man. He said, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I told his brother he was whacked. But anyway, welcome once again to Flat Earth Radio Live. This is the Shadow Effect Show with your hosts, Rick and Mark. Let's find out if my bro Mark is ready to go. Oh, yep, I see it. I see he is. Here we come. Hey, y'all. Oh, hey, y'all, you hear me? We're coming your way in Louisiana.
I'll call you right back.
All right. Hello. What's happening?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
All right. What's going on, guys? This is Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me? Who are you? Hello. Who is this?
Mark Hollander.
Is this a prank call?
It's a prank call.
Uh-huh. Can I speak to Mark Hollander, please?
He went through MK Ultra or some one of his clones.
I see. Okay, well, you'll do.
What's up, Rick? Oh.
Hey, Randy. How's it going, Randy? Randy! Mr. Randy Fisher, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Rick?
Let's give a hand to Randy Fisher. Hey, have you guys noticed, have you watched this on YouTube yet? There's my bro.
We have
Mark.
a poor network connection. You might want to call back.
I wonder why that happens every time.
Can you hear us good?
I hear you guys. What are you saying? You saying I don't hear you? You can't hear me good?
No, we can hear you perfect, man.
All right. Let me throw on the camera.
Put some picture on yourself, man. Make it audio frequency.
If you insist.
Visual frequency.
If you insist.
There you go.
There you go. Come here, Barb. Now you can come in and step in.
Dude, how is our basketball Earth doing tonight?
How am I? Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, I see the little light blinking on the mic.
Oh,
you guys got it going.
Hey,
well, Mark drank. I had some mouthwash here, Rick.
No, wait.
I know. He went to go slug this bottle right here of Fabuloso.
These guys.
But now that we get into advertising, Rick Lotek, this is called Fabuloso, okay? And it is a long-lasting fragrance. It's you will put it on your floor. You mop your floors with it, but it tastes better as a mouthwash. It really cleans everything in your mouth. Now, don't swallow it, otherwise you die.
Now, see, ladies and gentlemen, Mark's just working on our new commercial skills. Mark is doing a commercial. Hey, this is fabulous here. This is the mint flavor, and I like it myself. Mr. Fisher, what flavor do you like, the red or the mint?
I like the purple, the lavender.
The purple. Isn't it amazing, by the way, that they make that stuff look like juice and it's deadly poison?
Yes.
When I was in the Red Cross, we had a consciousness meeting with that because of that same reason. It looks like juice, and not little kids would grab it, but grown people like Mark.
I'm not grown up. Look, I shaved my beard, by the way, brother. I don't have no beard left.
That's funny. Let me tell you what we're doing. We're trying to stream 3 or at least 4 ways, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to stream you guys' images onto the YouTube, but we'll work around that.
That's all right.
At least I got you.
One thing to say, brother.
At least I can hear you. We're doing the radio show. Don't worry about that. We got the radio show.
I'm never going to take Christmas lights down again for the rest of my life.
You should do like my neighbor, George, bless his heart, bless his soul. He used to leave his lights on all year round. Not on, just in place. So that next Christmas, all he had to do was dig out the plug and then hope it don't explode. It works every year.
Hey, Rick, it's rained actually 25 out of the last 31 days here, in South Louisiana.
It's raining here right now.
The ladder was actually a wood ladder, 6-foot ladder. It was waterlogged. And anyway, it's I went through it. The ladder actually collapsed on me, so I didn't fall off the ladder. I went through the ladder, and then it was just a freak accident. Like you said, the devil is going to attack us at all levels, and physically speaking, the devil can always attack any of us. Now, mentally, no, the devil can never attack me mentally, because when you walk with the Spirit of God, brother, you don't have to worry about the devil at that point.
Amen. That's the truth. Now, we have to talk about, for a moment, we have to talk about this, what we've been calling Phase 2. Now, I see you've already got it going on because you're doing video. But my intention tonight was, I don't know if you've looked at the YouTube, but you're not, even though your voice is coming through, your image isn't. It's because I have yet to figure it out. But the next time...
Well, look, we offered a show to Randy Fisher out in New Orleans here in Mandeville, Louisiana. And I did want to ask Randy a pertinent question. You know, what would his show be about, and what is the name of his show? And I don't want to put any undue pressure on my brother here. I've been knowing him for 20 years. However, I guess it's probably on your mind as well.
Yeah, we got to put him on the schedule.
Correct?
We got to put him on the schedule. So I need to know.
Let's do it. Let's find out what what's the show going to be about?
I heard some rumors. I heard some rumors. I heard it was...
Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Fisher from New Orleans, Louisiana. Randy, what is going to be the name of your show, and what is your show going to be about?
Well, Mark, the name of my show is Mark in Space.
Don't
Mark
laugh.
No, seriously.
No, I heard some rumors, Mark.
At this point, Randy doesn't know. And that's the reason why the Chemical Trails show was actually rebroadcast last night. And you had suggested it was the second highest rated show. And I'm proud of that. I already know the first rated show was either you or Shelley. So I'm not sure what the highest rated show was. Oh, you and me. You know, but you told me it was the second highest rated show. And I guess I'm kind of proud of that. You know, maybe I'm just living in Walt Disneyland. I work at NASA, so. But if it was the second highest rated show, Rick, we're going to bring our brother Randy Fisher into the mode, and we'll find out. Even if he's got a Globe show, we can always call in and have a nice discussion with him. Randy, do you have any idea what your show will be about?
Yes, definitely about NASA and talking about the flat Earth.
So right now you're unsure whether the Earth is a spherical spinning ball or if it's just flat. Because round doesn't fit the narrative, Rick, does it? Because round and a pancake's round, but it's not a ball. Would that be correct?
I don't tell you the truth, Mark. I don't know what we're going to do once we teach Randy here that the Earth is flat, and then we have to go back and teach him the truth that it's neither flat nor round, and tell him the reality that we don't fucking know what the shape is, but we do know this. We do know this.
There's no shape.
Wait a minute.
I think it's the devil's deception. I think it is
that's
round.
the point.
It's just not
we don't know, see, because we don't know. But see, Randy,
we don't know that.
Randy, the fact that we don't know, the fact that we don't know is where you should place your energies. Don't you think? That big gap, the fact that we don't know, is reason enough for you to take off on a search and find out at least who's lying.
Amen.
I agree. I agree with that. I think that we definitely need to start searching, and I'm starting to research now, and to try to listen, of things that you and Mark have told me before.
That's a great answer.
But look, Mark, let me ask you this.
Go ahead. Ask me a question.
I've been thinking about this for a while. They had all of these people that say they sailed around the world. What do you say to that, Rick? What do you say?
Well, that's easy. Tell him about the circumference of the bowl, Mark. Tell him about the bowl.
Well,
yeah, but if
sailing around a bowl.
Let me tell you, if you're gonna leave from the West Coast and you're gonna sail all the way around the world and come back and hit into the Atlantic.
Just like a roulette wheel.
If you allow me, I will answer the question.
The roulette wheel.
Rick's going to agree with me. Whether you're on a ball or you're on a flat Earth 1892 Gleason map, it's actually easier to circumnavigate the world on the flat Earth map as opposed to the ball. It's actually a little bit easier explained, but the whole point isn't that. This is how you get your globe Earth. You got to trust NASA as being your guide, because no one's ever seen a real photograph of what Earth looks like, unless you believe NASA's computer-generated image pictures, because they're cartoon balls. They're not real. So if it's not real, why would you believe something that's not real? And we don't know the shape of the Earth. Rick is right.
But people have done this many times.
Magellan Circuit was a Freemason, 33rd Freemason occultist. He was a piece of shit Roman Catholic. Hang on. He was a 33rd Freemason occultist, just like Sir Isaac Newton was. But Magellan don't know what he did. He circumnavigated the world. How in the fuck would he know whether we're on a ball or if you just circumnavigated on a Gleason, on a complete circle? A complete circle doesn't have nothing to do with being on a ball. Nothing at all. It's actually easy to circumnavigate Magellan's voyages on a flat Earth map as opposed to a ball. I'm not go ahead.
There's just many.
It's easier.
I know, Mark. There's many people that have traveled around the world.
All right.
Many people.
Let me ask you a question. If NASA's in space with the International Scam Station, the International Swimming Station, the International Space Station, if they really 240 miles up in the thermosphere, which would burn to death in a few seconds, but if you believe that, can they show us real photographs of Australia where people are actually upside down? Where actually people are actually upside down if you're on a ball. On a ball, the ball's got a bottom to the ball. That's where Australian people live. Show us a real photograph where everybody's fucking upside down. Show us on your international scam state. You can't because it's fake. We believe in fakery. We in an artificial reality today. And
excuse me.
You got to research.
You're not supposed. You're not supposed.
Rick, you got anything to add to that?
Yes, you're not supposed to say "fuck" on the radio.
All right. All the time. Damn it! I'm sorry for saying "fuck." I'm gonna start saying "damn it" instead.
Well, fucking stop.
Sorry about that.
Well, fucking stop saying "fuck." No, seriously,
I'm sorry, guys.
no. We talked about.
Answer the question.
Well, we talked about that before. Just trying to keep it. And by the way, Mark, you don't have to move the microphone back and forth. It picks up a good wide range.
Telling him that.
Yeah, leave it right there. That's all you got to do.
He's hard-headed.
Now, let me answer the question.
As far back. So
Consider a roulette wheel. In the early 1700s, a British manned ship that was an American ship set out to circumnavigate the Antarctic coastline. They figured it would go about 2,700 miles and take about 6 months. And instead, it took them almost 6 years, almost the better part of 7 years, and they logged almost 250,000 miles. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the outer rim of a roulette wheel. Whenever someone circumnavigates the globe, they go around the outside of the plate, man. Think about a roulette wheel. Go and get a little marble and roll it around a plate. Okay, Mark, that's what I was hoping you would explain. Explain the roulette wheel.
I'm going to further explain your point. You could take Captain James Cook in the year 1776 through 1779. He took a 3.5-year voyage to Antarctica. He circumnavigated 60,000 miles looking for. He sailed along the ice wall of Antarctica. This is in all his books. He could not find an opening to go to the inlet of Antarctica. It was just a 300-foot to 500-foot ice wall. Water needs a container, guys. You're not on a spinning supersonic space ball because water is flat. Pour water in your glass. Everything's flat. It's the container of the water is the
glass. Oh my God!
Is the cup of the glass itself. So just
like
the
hold on a minute. Hold on, Mark.
Holds the water's oceans in the world. You follow me? And
why is it only 300 to 500 feet long?
No, it's not long. It's Antarctic ice wall. It's 300 to 500 feet tall. It holds all the water's oceans in
the world.
In the world, water doesn't curve. Anything south of 60 degrees latitude, Rick, you cannot circumnavigate. They will detain you, arrest you, or make you disappear. 53 nations, Freemason navies in the Air Forces will detain you and they will arrest you. You can't go past 60 degree in the southern hemisphere, 60 degree latitude. You can't. It's impossible. They will not allow you that. And the militaries of the world, the Freemason military, will not allow you to go past 60 degrees south latitude.
Randy, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Randy?
Yes, I can hear you.
You have a timer on your little cell phone there?
Kind of
like a sports timer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, friends, to resort to this, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to have to. Each of us are going to have to set a timer, and we're going to be able to allow that person to speak completely without interruption until their time goes. I'm sorry, but we got to do it that way. So, what's a good 20.3 seconds? Let's go.
Mark takes
3 minutes. You got to do at least.
I don't know.
Minutes,
and if you've ever been to like a trial or a public hearing, they give you 3 minutes. Yeah. So
3 minutes.
3 minutes
should be
is
3 minutes.
All right.
And actually, I was about 3 minutes.
And you have to respect the other guy's 3 minutes.
No, he can respond to what we had suggested.
Anyone else? Is there anyone else back there? And instead of being in the back, do you want 3? This is how they do it at a public forum, Mark. Let's do it like that. Is there anyone else that's in the room that wants
3 minutes?
Everybody sign up for your 3 minutes, just like we do it at the public forum.
Well, Rick, let me tell you this real quick. You know, Mark with his new beard shaving looks like every other Glober in the world.
Actually, he looks like a bare-ass baby, but I was just wanting to say that. Grow it back, Mark.
Dude, he looks better, believe me, Rick.
No, I hate beards, really, I do. But some people are more majestic with a beard. And I can introduce him as Professor Mark when he had the beard, see.
Mark.
But you're right, Randy. Now he just looks like another fucking wild-eyed... Oh, I said the word.
He does.
He looks like just another wild-eyed flat earther, the kind that they throw out of the meetings, you know. All right, guys, sign up for your 3 minutes, everybody. And that means the ladies, you got anybody in that wants to sign up for the 3 minutes? Put me on there. Who's our timer? All right, who's our timer?
Hello, Rick.
Who's timing? Are you timing, Randy?
Yeah, we're
all right, go for it.
We timing it.
All right, we'll go down the list then.
He's trying to count his beers right now.
Hey guys, and I'm gonna
look, dude, 3 minutes. We got the beer.
By the way, I'm gonna give you this little trick that I learned from going to these public meetings. Always wait and sign up last because you get the last word. Don't be too eager. Don't get up there and put your name on the top of the list, because if you do, somebody's gonna cut you up. Those last worders.
Look, let me ask you this real quick. So, Mark's saying there's a 300 to 400 foot wall holding all of the water in the world together.
Ice wall.
Do you agree with that, Rick? Is that something that that you believe in? That
Antarctic wall.
Well,
I'm talking.
I love putting it. I love to put it this way because let's get it down to experimentation. I have done this experiment where what Mark is suggesting, where you can enclose water, you can slosh water, you can contain water. In fact, I take a bath in contained water. So that's an experiment right there, that water will always remain flat and always sink its lower, all that stuff that you hear Mark say. However,
so let me ask you this.
Now, wait a minute. Let me finish this. Then I'm going to give it back to you. So just take a second. That experiment is not returnable on a globe Earth. In other words, I can't take a bathtub and make the water in the tub stick to the ball, no matter how hard I try.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So the experimentations.
I understand.
Let the experiment speak for itself. All right, now there you go.
Like everybody says, gravity is what holds the water together.
Right.
Okay.
Gravity is a theory.
Well, hold on a second. So let me finish talking, Mark. Go in the other room. So
no, wait a minute. We don't want that. We want Mark to learn how to remain in the conversation strategically. Don't leave, Mark. Don't you leave.
So if you take temperature readings above North America, you take temperature readings all around the entire world, China, Japan, everywhere, and you go. So if the Earth is flat, you're going to go how many miles away from Japan to hit the ice wall? How many miles away from here to hit the ice wall?
Good
how many
question.
How many miles south you're going to hit the ice wall? Is the temperature just going to get colder and colder and colder all the way around?
Hey, Rick,
is that what you're saying,
you want me
Rick?
to answer that?
No, he's asking me, man. Let me ask. You can add to it. feel free to add to it, but it's a simple answer, Randy. If you consider how the sun rotates around this plate, remember, I want you to consider a great big old dinner plate. The sun circles around the mid cage, around the middle. So anything that's on the very center of this circular path is going to be cold, and anything on the very outer part of this is going to be cold. You see, because the sun's rays are a lot lower than what you've been. What is he doing?
Opposite.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The sun is a lot lower powered than what you have been taught. So, in other words,
listen,
the power doesn't reach out that far.
Mark Dupree is here from New Orleans. He's a big contractor, just did the D-Day Museum here. And
okay. So that's great. Okay, we're going to go to commercial.
So he's listening in. He wanted to hear, and he had a couple questions too.
Great. Listen, before we start, hold on, guys.
It's a couple statements.
Wait,
hold on, before we start, Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark Dupree from New Orleans. Okay, Mark, you got a question?
Mark, we got to go to commercial.
We'll do this right after the commercial.
Exactly, right after commercial. In the meantime, get everybody signed up for their 3 minutes, and we'll be right back after the commercial. All right, guys?
All right.
Okay. And if you're just joining us, welcome. This is the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. We are involved in a very extremely heated conversation, something that happens around here in a lot. And this time we got quite a few people involved. This is what we call one of those round earth roundhouses, because the people in the room right now where Mark is at, Mark could quite easily be overrun, beat up, and kicked out the back door because he's the only flat earther in the room. But anyway, this is what we call a roundhouse. So make sure that you come right back after this commercial break and this Flat Earth News Brief from the good guys at FENewsNet.com. And this is the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. You're listening to FERlive.com, The Ferret. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this commercial message. This is another Flat Earth News Brief, and I'm your host, Rick Lotek. This story from July 1st, 2018. Why do rockets never go straight up when they launch? We have all seen televised NASA rocket launches from over the last 5 decades. Some of you have even witnessed a rocket launch in person from the ground. But did you ever see the rocket go into outer space? Of course not. Nobody has. All you see is the rocket ascending in a curve toward the sky. The rocket eventually goes so high that it disappears within the stratosphere. After all, we must turn to the television to watch the video feed from the rocket. It is usually a fuzzy and distorted picture that shows a lot of blackness, which is supposed to be outer space. As for the Earth, it looks like a bright blue circular ball. How do we know that this is not CGI or some green screen in a Hollywood-like studio? If the rocket is ascending in a curve, then it would eventually have come back down like an arc. So where does it descend? There is never any sign of rockets crashing back down on land. However, there is a big, beautiful ocean with no people around for these rockets to crash in. This would explain why NASA chooses coastal areas to conduct their rocket launches at. Test rocket hits firmament dome. The curvature motion of the rocket prevents it from crashing into the upper dome of the Earth. If the rocket were to ascend in a perfectly straight and vertical motion, it would crash right into the dome. To test this theory, a civilian crew of space explorers launched their own test rocket into the sky. They attached a camera to the spinning rocket so people could see the first-person perspective from it in real time. When the rocket got to about 73 miles in altitude, it suddenly stopped spinning and then hit a barrier. There were 2 cameras used to verify this incident. NASA continues to deny that the Earth is flat, despite this evidence. But as amateur flight technology becomes more advanced, the civilian world is getting closer to proving the real truth about our flat world. Other photographic evidence exists which illustrates the curving rockets very clearly. You can now see how these rockets left a smoky fire trail behind them, which curves just like an arch. If you show these photographs to the scientific community, they will simply claim that they are doctored. If that's the case, then why should we believe that NASA's photos and videos are not doctored? They certainly have the money and resources to produce fake images better than any civilian could. For more Flat Earth news and additional information on the Flat Earth data, log on to FENewsNet.com and stay right here on Flat Earth Radio, FER Live, The Ferret, for additional news briefs on the Flat Earth. I'm your host, Rick Lotek. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again. Hey, John, you don't look so good. What's the matter?
Oh, I always feel tired and run down. You know, no energy. I think it's my poor diet or something.
Well, you know, John, I used to feel the same way. Couldn't sleep at night, couldn't stay awake in the daytime. That's when my doc told me that I had leaky gut syndrome.
Oh, wow. What'd you do? Surgery?
No way. I tried Tarsal. Tarsal is made with the finest, purest cream of tartar and MSM sulfur. And that's all. The fact that it contains all natural ingredients makes it especially desirable in today's toxic world. Tarsal is a white powder that you take every day with water or juice. Taken regularly, Tarsal can clear your leaky gut right up.
Tarsal, huh? So what else does Tarsal do?
Tarsal can help with acne, psoriasis, constipation, gallstones, heartburn, hemorrhoids, hypertension, IBS, and UTI.
Wow, that's quite a formula.
Yes, it is. And Tarsal also helps you to relax, repels insects, and can help you stop smoking.
So, how do I find Tarsal?
That's easy. Just go to Tarsal.com or call 619-363-1264. Try a bottle today and begin feeling normal again.
TARSUL.com. Try Tarsal today.
Thank you for listening to FERLive.com, The Ferret.
FERLive.com is an FMG production. Hi there. How are you? I'm Jennifer. Oh my gosh. It's like so wonderful to have you along with us. You're tuned into FER Live, The Ferret. Who are we? We are the first internet radio station to ever integrate Flat Earth music with Flat Earth talk and Flat Earth news. We are one of a kind. We're about teaching and accepting cosmologies that depict the Earth as flat. The search for the shape of the Earth is the search for truth. When you come to understand and you're awake, you will also come to know that it's the same world, different view. The Earth is flat, and we're FER Live, The Ferret. Coming to you from the Flat Earth capital, live from sunny San Diego, California, USA. We now continue with our regular programming. Thanks for listening, and please, have a wonderful life. I just love seeing all you people out there of the Flat Earth. May you be blessed.
I love you, Jennifer. Please do not spurn me again.
Not this again, Frederick. I told you before. If you don't leave me alone, I'll kill you.
I would rather choose death. Death next to love is a trivial thing, my darling. Come to me now. I love you, Jennifer. I love you, but Jennifer, oh dear, she's gone. She's gone. She's gone.
Flat Earth Aotearoa, New Zealand, hosted in Auckland, April 27th and 28th, 2019. A jam-packed 2-day, 3-part event to showcase Flat Earth and related topics such as the Antarctic Circle and lands beyond, NASA, scientism, religion exposed, the Matrix control, vaccinations, chemtrails, political globalism and the NWO, fake news and false education, astronomy unshut, weather modification, historical hoaxes, financial system, What are UFOs and aliens, biblical cosmology, and much more. The 3 parts include Broaden Your Horizon, a VIP Flat Earthers dinner, and a Unity conference. For tickets and contact information, phone 021-028-9340.
And also want to remind you of our brand new show, Down the Rabbit Hole with Shelley Lewis.
Or you can write them their address at P.O. Box 51010,
every Wednesday at 8 o'clock
New Zealand
Eastern Standard Time.
Or you can log on to their website at www.fenzexpo.co.nz. The 2019 Flat Earth New Zealand Expo, sponsored by FENZ Trust and FER
Check
Live.
us out on FERLIVE.com and look up at the top there where it says Schedule Listen. And you'll find out a lot more about the schedules and the programs that we have listed here on FERLive.com. Once again, welcome to FER Live. Wonderful to have you. FER Live.
Listen on, listen on, listen on. As this
QE
is the
2019 is coming to Southern California, February 22nd and February 23rd, 2019. Speakers will be presenting on the hottest topic of the day. 9/11, was it an inside job? The moon landing, did we really go? Scientism, has science become another religion? CBD, what is Big Pharma hiding from us? Vaccines, are they safe or are they harming our children? And no Question Everything conference will be complete without the hottest topic on the internet today, what is the true shape of the Earth? The 2019 Question Everything conference is shaping up to be like no other conference of its kind. This will be the event that people will be talking about for years to come. So get your tickets for the event and the VIP luncheon right now at QE2019.com. Southern California, February 22nd and 23rd, 2019. For additional information, go to QE2019.com. QE2019.com. And if you use promo code FEMG, you'll receive 25% off your ticket price right now. Sponsored by QE2019 and FERLive.com.
That's right. Remember the QE 2019 Question Everything Conference coming up in the, what is it now? 2 months now. Not much time. So make sure you get your tickets now. Once again, the address is P.O. Box 51010, Pakuranga. That's P-A-K-U-R-A-N-G, Pakuranga, Auckland, New Zealand 2010. The 2019 Question Everything Conference. Or their email address is admin@fenzexpo. That's fenzexpo.co.nz. Tickets are on sale now. Make sure you give them a call, give them an email, or you can call their number. Heard the number on, I don't know what the number was. We'll look it back up again. We'll play the commercial again. So 2019 Question Everything Conference. Also remember the New Zealand conference coming up in New Zealand, and we plan to send some Mark Hollander there. Speaking of Mark Hollander, hey, the commercial break is over, guys. Get back on here. We're trying to contact you through a different venue so that we can try and get some kind of a connection here, some kind of a video connection with our YouTube live stream, which would be kind of cool. That is actually that's my intention, is to get Mark on here with everyone else. Hey guy, come on, you're listening? Answer the YouTube. If not, we'll get you back on the other one. All right, no problem. And if you're just joining us, welcome back to the second hour of the Shadow Effect Show. I'm your host, Rick Lotek. The Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. I'm trying to contact Mark right now on our Facebook page. And we do that a lot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. More often it don't. Ringing in, no response. Let's get back over here where we were. We were involved in a very deep. It's not a debate. We do not debate. I don't know where you draw the line between the difference. I mean, what is the difference between a debate and a conversation? I just know this. Debating is just a waste of time. We're not trying to debate the matter. It's not the flat earth data that's on trial here. In fact, no one is on trial except for one thing: false thinking, false teaching, false navigation through history. Everything false, false. All that's what's on trial here. And we're not going to have it anymore, friends. So here's what we're doing. Trying to contact Mark once again and get back into that conversation. If not, we'll just wait for them to contact us. There's a couple things that I could clarify that occurred during the conversation. And to me, this is important because there's so much misunderstanding going on out there about what exactly NASA does. NASA is a clearinghouse for all this stuff that is unreal. Everything space, everything nonsense, NASA controls it. It's all NASA this and it's all NASA that. NASA's a funnel for information. Why doesn't any of this get to you? Why haven't you learned any of this in your whole life? Well, because NASA made sure that you didn't. Those people did a very good job in their lives making sure that you believe rockets rise like that when they fire. During the commercial break, friends, I checked out Estes Rockets at estes.com, estesrockets.com, and I discovered that they're still in business. ESTES, Estes. There's a lot of different words, a lot of different companies now that own Estes. But try Estes Rocketry and put the rocketry on the end, and what you'll see is that you could get started with your own model rocket for about $29.99 at Target. Probably even cheaper on eBay, but you take your own chance that it won't explode in your face. Okay, so see Estes Rockets. We go to Google here, we see Estes Rockets. And what do we notice? The first thing that's for sale. The shuttlecraft. And I'm talking, it's even got the orange tank and the two white boosters strapped to the side and the shuttle on the back. Let's find out whether or not, now you can't go to the website, it's only to the seller's website. But they used to advertise it that it had what's called an apogee. The apogee is a way that it goes up and over instead of just straight up and down, kind of a curved flight pattern. However, an apogee is only available on some kind of a computer-controlled vehicle, and these are far from that, because basically even though the rocket engines are very, very high-tech and very well made, they're still, you light them and you run. And basically, believe it or not, if you consider this, the rockets that the solid rocket booster that's actually attached to the shuttle is the same way. It's solid rocket booster, just like one of these Estes rockets. But you can get the shuttle here for about $37 American. Yeah, and you can launch it yourself, you and your kid in your backyard, and do this experiment on your own and find out. See if that thing leaves beautiful big clouds of smoke and rises majestically off the pad. Or does it go, like if you stuck your head out the window of a car going 70 miles an hour and you're at a toupee on. That's how this thing takes off. That's how a rocket would take off. That's what we're talking about. So anyway, here we go. Skyping back, trying to contact Mark. The guys should be ready. Get back in the conversation here, guys. Where are you? If you're just joining us, this is the Rick and Mark Show, the Shadow Effect Show. We're listening to some guests of Randy Fisher's today, and again of Mark's, and these guys just got it going on. They're so what they're saying. What happened to their sound? There it is. See, the thing is, sometimes after the commercial break, they don't get back all in there at the same time, but we'll get them back. So, welcome live on our YouTube channel. And guess what? This is going to be here for a while. We're teaching all of the other hosts to do this, and if they don't, I'll do it for them. But the idea is that from now on, even though you're not seeing video of us right now, there we are. You know, happy day, happy day. This is Flat Earth Radio Live, The Ferret, and you're listening to the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. Today we're talking to Randy Fisher, and we'll be back with them in just a little while. Just as soon as I'm able to reestablish contact with Earth again. And, oh, did I say Earth? Yeah. Just as soon as I'm able to reestablish contact. We'll see where they're at. Hey, guys, come on. Where you at, guys? You're making me look bad. Shh, beat on the door back here. Hey, guys, wake up in there. And here's what we're doing today, friends. We're listening to some highly intelligent people asking some very intelligent questions, and that's what's important. Is it's in the questioning. Otherwise, what good are we doing here? What good is this all? These people are not our enemy. They're not warring against us. They want to know just like we wanted to know when we first came into this whole flat Earth thing. They want to know what the hell is going on. You know, what is flat Earth? What is it? Is it flat Earth? Is it flat? What's the Earth? Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
It's just Mark.
Okay, what's up? Hey, what is the shape of the Earth?
I think it's round and flat.
Round and you mean circular and flat?
Right, just like the stars above us.
And see, you're just as bad as me using that planet word. When you say round, it's confusing. You must stop saying round.
It's not spherical, I guess. You know.
What about the plate? Okay, when you remember back in the conversation there, I mentioned to you. Tell them about how it's like a roulette wheel, like a marble going around the outside of a plate. To me, that's the best way to show anybody who's trying to put this together in their minds.
Yeah, I think that's what Auguste Piccard had suggested in 1931. You know, he took that weather balloon. He actually was a Swiss-German physicist, one of the greatest scientists ever. In fact, the Star Wars commander was named after Piccard in reference to Auguste Piccard. And he went up 53 miles and he suggested that the Earth was shaped like a dinner plate with the ridge upside ridges, you know, where Antarctica was at, with ridges curving containing the water. I mean, that's what he said. It was like disc shape, you know, and that was in 1931. Of course, that stuff wasn't in our science books, you know.
Not only that, we have to factor in the notion of the concept of perspective on adventurer Piccard's eyes. Understand that when you're looking, as you recall, Mark, I'm glad you mentioned this, we can actually now use the power lines that go across Lake Pontchartrain as our perfect idea. Because if you look at the power lines going away from you, going downrange, they seem to hug the curve of the Earth. But at the same time, if you look at the horizon, it's totally flat.
Right, that's due to perspective.
So if you ask somebody, see, that's the key, perspective. What I'm saying is this. When Auguste Piccard looked out, he saw, his brain was confused between looking out in the distance, which would give him a perspective, and his peripheral vision, which would give him a flat horizon. So it's possible that he had difficulties in describing what he saw.
Right.
So what happened to the guys? Where's everybody at?
We got into a flat Earth globe fight, so I left, you know.
That's too bad. This is what we're trying to avoid here. You know, it's too bad that happened.
Yeah, it is. You know, I'm actually stop at the store because I have to, nature's calling at this point, you know.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. We are still live.
I mean, I didn't want to go into an analytical, biological functionality.
All right. So what do we do next? Where do we go from here? Just continue the show, or are you going to get back in there?
I guess I just need about 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna continue with you. I really miss talking with you, and I miss being on the show. And I'm healing, man. I broke 2 ribs in a accident. I felt falling through a ladder.
Oh, that's right. That bar fight where that gay guy beat the hell out of you. I remember.
Yeah, about 25. The 24
took the whole bar.
I was able to take care of it, but that 25th one didn't.
I know, 25 sissies, man. It was a slap fest, buddy. It was like, "Oh, you bitch!"
I felt like I was a Pillsbury Doughball. Yeah, give me 5 minutes.
You got it, bro.
Call me right back.
I will, man. All right.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
You bet. Oh, there you go, friends. What can you say? These things happen. We tried to do it. Hey, round earth people, we tried to make a truce. We tried to call it. We walked out into the center of the battlefield, Mark and I. By golly, you just seen him do it. And we stood out there and said, okay, you round earth believers, what is it that you don't understand about what we're saying? And I don't mean to fault anybody, and I'm not. And we're going to continue down that road. We're going to Randy Fisher and all those guys back there. They're not off the hook by far. We're going to continue to pursue that. We want to give Randy Fisher a show, and for no other reason but because it is a two-sided thing, believe it or not. So we need to give it both sides. Sorry about that, but anyway, we're good, aren't we? We're good. Hey, we're good. We good, Russ? How about out there in the West Coast? Are we good? How about you, Barb? Are we good, Barb? My ferret's good. I'm looking at the YouTube broadcast right now. It might not be getting the video out that I want, but you can see me. Hey, all you guys out there on the radio who've been listening for the last 6 months, you want to see what I look like, here you go. Anyway, check us out on our YouTube channel. That is exactly, you go to YouTube and look for Flat Earth Radio Live. I think it's coming up in the search now. If not, bug me for the link. Bug Mark for the link. Bug Shelly for the link. All of us are going to have the link. Once you get to Flat Earth Radio Live, the front page, it'll always be there. Always be there, at least until they shut us down. At least. By the way, YouTube might actually do that because we have every intention to. I might as well go ahead and announce this to you now, friends. We got Eric Duvet trying to come on here, and no, I didn't mean to say trying to come on here. We're trying to get Eric Duvet on here, and the reason is because there's been a lot of talk about this and a lot of talk about that lately. And Flat Earth Radio Live believes at the first we decided that we were going to stay away from that drama aspect, but then we decided that at least with my show anyway, that there is definitely some kind of demand for that Flat Earth drama. So we're going to put together a show that does exactly that, a show that showcases the Flat Earth connection, the collective, the people, because that is what it's all about. It's really about the Flat Earth community. If there is trouble, if there's strife in the inside the community, then we here as journalists, as Flat Earth Radio, we owe it to the community to showcase that in every manner, in every situation. So we will do that. We'll no longer shy away from the drama. At least I'm not going to, but I could care less. My show is going to stick with the data. The data, that's more important. But we will have somebody that is intent on bringing that to you. And my hope, frankly, is if you're listening, Wes Stace, who has got his finger on the tick of the Flat Earth community, and I've often listened to the shows that he produces, And it's clear that he has an understanding and a connection, a real connection with the Flat Earth community. I mean, he knows things, and I'm hoping that he'll be like our dear Abby of, our insider, come running out of there and tell us what's really going on, what they're really saying out there. It isn't that we try to keep all that going. It's that that's what you guys want to hear, and that's what you guys want to see. We have been in possession of a lot of material that came out of the Flat Earth International Conference 2018 in the way of interviews and that kind of thing that we just haven't run because I consider them dramatic, and had no need and no place and no purpose inside of the Flat Earth Collective. But now that we see otherwise, I'm going to bring those out. We're going to make a documentary. We're going to just let it fly. We had an old saying back when I was in the military, let's run it up the flagpole and see if anybody salutes. And that's the way we'll do it. We'll find out what you guys are willing to like and what you don't. You want to see the drama? Let's go ahead and let's do that show. You wanted to see it. And if you're just joining us, how you doing? Welcome to FERlive.com, The Ferret. You're listening to the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark, and I'm your host, Rick Lotek. It's so wonderful that you would join us out there tonight, especially if you're on YouTube. You notice that we're here, and our live presence on YouTube is real. Understand that we're going four ways. We're going out live on our regular radio broadcast, scheduled 24/7 on FERlive.com, and that's just audio only. We're going out through YouTube here, which you're watching right now, which is audio and video, and we're going out through archiving. YouTube always archives all of its old shows. I mean, every show that we do will be right there on YouTube. And finally, podcasting. The podcasting thing is the most difficult. That's the one thing that I have yet to get in place in this entire mechanism. That is FERlive.com. We started off with just an idea. The idea was to incorporate all of the aspects, all of the media aspects of the Flat Earth data. And we hadn't really considered what we're going to do when it comes to the community until recently, and our response to that was fepeople.com. If you're not aware of that, just check it out. Go to fepeople.com and sign up for a free account. And brother, when I say free, I don't mean the kind of free where you're going to sign up for this. You got to accept this software, and you got to take that software, and it's dangerous. Or like Facebook, where you got to hand over an ID and you got to maintain your you can no longer do a persona. You have to maintain your reality of you, and that's, some people don't like that, but you can do that on fepeople.com. We're not government controlled. You check it out for yourself. fepeople.com. Go there and sign up for an account. Check me out, Rick Lotek, on there. You'll find me there. Eventually, you'll find all of the hosts there because it's a demand. I'll go down there and beat the butts of anybody who don't go on fepeople.com. Anybody who works for me, man, better be on fepeople.com, or I'll come and look for them. They don't call me the bear for nothing. But anyway, like I said, try it out. Check it out, fepeople.com. You'll love it. It's a great time without all the restrictions of, for example, Facebook. Hey, and speaking of Facebook, I know a guy who's off of Facebook right now for another 6 days, I think he was. I don't mean to laugh at the guy, Mark Hollander. Again, on a little hiatus from Facebook. It's so easy to do these days. You don't even have to necessarily say anything. You don't have to be involved in some kind of terrorist group. You don't have to be looking for bomb parts. Not that we do that stuff, but in today's modern Facebook, it's so easy for you to get tossed into what we call Zuckerberg Hall, aka Facebook jail. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. These days in Facebook, they no longer even have to supply a reason for it. They just, hey, you're in it. You're like, what'd I do? But anyway, Mark Hollander is there. He's in Zuckerberg Hall. I always dance on. I've been in there several times this year. And for spamming, they call it spamming. Yeah, I'm a spammer. I spam notes. I spam links about our show here. I put out, everything about the site, how to get to it, and very often someone complains about that. They call it spamming, and they go, hey, get the spammer, throw him in the spammer's joint. So anyway, that's where Mark is. Let's see if he's ready. Hey, Mark, I'm reaching out to you. Randy, if you guys are listening, please don't, whatever guys, whatever happens down there, please don't write me off, because I want to stay in the conversation with you.
Hey, Rick, what's going on,
Hey,
buddy?
Mark, what's going on, man? Are you done with your business?
Well, sometimes I can get animated, and I was accused of yelling and interrupting.
I see.
The only reason why I interrupt is because Randy goes, okay, Mark, I'm going to ask you a question. After he asks the question, he asks you to answer it. It's exceptionally confusing. When you ask me a question, but he wants you to answer it. So that's the reason why I interrupted, because he's asking me a question, but he wants you to answer it. That didn't really make too much sense to me,
All right, but you and I have talked about this before, and that's not the real. Now you're going to listen, because I'm going to tell you what's really going on. It's your zeal, Z-E-A-L. It's not that you should ever be cited for it. It's not that anyone should ever judge you for it, because you're just so excited and it's so alive in your heart, and the flat earth data is so real that you just want to push it out to everybody. But you have never come to understand that you can't force medicine on a patient. You cannot force treatment on a patient either. We medics have a law that says if they don't want your help, you can't give it to them. You can't see a lady just collapse on the floor and jump on her and start pumping on her chest. You have to obtain permission. In other words,
I agree.
If that lady doesn't want you to help, even if it means her lying there and dying, you can't give it to her. So
I agree.
Here's what I'm getting at. If those guys ask you a question, a lot of times it's not that they're actually waiting for an answer. It's that they're trying to test your conviction. And here's what happens on your part, and I've done this myself, so I'm not judging you, bro, is that you get too excited. You're like, how can you guys not understand this? You want to do the same thing that Roddy Piper did in the movie They Live, when he tried to get his bro to put on the glasses. You want to jump on him and say, put on these glasses or start eating that trash can. Can't do that.
I agree.
So, and that's what we do. It's not just you, man. It's us. We do that.
We do.
We have to find.
I even admitted I was wrong, but when you have, when you don't have the true destination of God's Spirit, that once you learn the truth, it allows you. And again, I probably had a couple drinks tonight. Well, I did. And it's the first time in a week and a half that I had anything to drink, And I'm a little drunk. And I said, look, I was wrong. I was too animated. But when somebody calls you out when I'm trying to get them to forgive me, I got a 20-year friend, and he doesn't do it, then I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I say, hey, I admit I was wrong. I was wrong. But if you can't forgive me and I'm telling you I'm sorry, then that's when I depart. You know what I mean? Hey, I pray for him and all, but it is what it is, I was wrong.
You're right for departing.
I admitted fault.
You're right for leaving. You're doing the right thing for leaving. But just understand that you can't make a decision like throwing out a 20-year friendship while you've been drinking. You just wait and let it blow over. Go away. Don't go back here tonight, but let it blow over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see my buddy Mike Casino, and I'm hoping he's there. I spoke to him a couple hours ago. He goes, Mark, if you come at 7, I'll be here. But it's about 8:40 right now, so I'm hoping my buddy's here because I'm gonna try to get a zebra reunion on the radio with us, with the Rick and Mark, because I don't want to gobble up anything for myself. I want to share it with you because I know what you think of zebra and Randy.
All right, but listen to this, Mark. I don't want you. I'm going to try to go back and talk to Randy again. I don't want you to think anything about it. All right.
No, that's fine.
All right, just so
I
you
admit
know.
I was wrong. That's all I'm telling you. It doesn't
The
matter.
show must go on.
He thought I was screaming at him, and
Well,
I wanted
you
to know the
probably
question
were.
that he was going to ask you once he got live. And when we were on the break, and things kind of, you know what I mean, deteriorated. And when I admitted I was wrong and said, hey, man, I think I was wrong. I was too animated. I wasn't screaming, but yeah, I get animated because I guess it's the conviction that we got in our hearts. You know what I mean?
That's
But
what
you're
I'm trying
right,
to tell you.
and I was wrong, and I admit it. But if you can't accept me apologizing, then that's when I have to depart. That's all. And that's how it is.
Be careful. Stay out of trouble. Here's Barb. Say hello, Barb. Hi, Barb.
Hey, Barb. I love you, Barb.
Love you too,
Take care of my
Mark.
buddy. Take care of my brother
Stay out of
from
trouble.
another mother.
Stay out of trouble. All right.
Hey, I'm at casinos. I'm going to see if Mike's here, and if he is, we're going to re-hook up with you, man. We're going to call you right back.
All right. I'd like to talk to Mike. You do that. Stay out of trouble. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right, man. I'm going to try to call you. I hope he's here, okay?
All right.
I just don't know if he is or not.
Okay.
I love you. I love you, brother. Sorry for the trouble.
That's all right. There's no one making any judgments here. There's this is a good example of exactly what's happening in the flat earth community, and this is what anyone should expect because that's what the whole flat earth movement thing is about. It's about taking us apart. It's not really about all the seriousness. And understand my respect to everyone who is seriously involved in the flat earth data and in the people like Dave Marsh and everyone out there who genuinely puts their hearts into all of it. But I'm sorry to tell you that it's likely that the earth is probably not flat. It's definitely not round. We can surely ascertain that. Any idiot can see that it's not round because the evidence is not there. We cannot we can't conduct an experiment that reproduces a round Earth. We cannot conduct any experimentation that reproduces the curved water effect that keeps water adhered to a planet. We cannot do that. However, we can conduct experiments that show that water remains flat no matter what. No matter what way you turn it, and that water would remain. If you were living on a globe Earth, the water would not stay on the Earth. We can definitely prove that through experimentation. And all these people who are not on the side of that have not been, and here's the main problem, these people have not been exposed to any of the experiments. They've not been exposed to any of the data, any of the information that people like Mark and I deal with on a regular basis. So very often when we come across people who don't accept the information, Mark and I, we tend to be very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. Because in our minds, it's like saying this. If, say, you and I meet at the end of a building, and I go, hey, what are you doing there? You go, I'm stepping off the edge here. Wait a minute, man, it's 200 stories to the floor. I go, you say, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that anything will happen to me. I believe that if I step off the end of this building, that'll be fine. So I'm standing here, and I go, hey, pal, I got to tell you, it's none of my business, but if you step off the end of that building, you're going to die. So what does that make me? Am I some kind of a special guy? Am I in need of an argument? Should I be attacked? Just because I see something that I say to myself, hey, if I let that guy go, he's really mess himself up, maybe kill himself. Somebody needs to go over and tell him, hey, dude, regardless of what you believe, let me say it again. Hallelujah, glory, hallelujah. Regardless of what you believe, if you step off the end of that building, friends, you're going to die. Do you get this? And all your belief and all your tactics and everything that you feel and hold deep inside of you ain't going to save you from the end result of what is real. That's what cognitive dissonance is. It's two different things. It's what your mind believes and then what's real. That's cognitive dissonance. There's a separation. Somebody has pulled it apart from you, and the first place that they began was by telling you to ignore your senses. Forget about, do you feel like you're moving? Do you feel like it? Stand. Try that. How many times have I told you this? Do you feel like, at any given time to the day, if you're not doing drugs and something like that, if you're not sucking down cough syrup, Robitussin and shit, stand up and ask yourself, do you feel like you're moving? And let's do this. Let's try to contact. I know that I have my buddy. Yep, I know he's in here. Randy, where you at, Randy? Randy, there you are. Randy Fisher. Let's try and get Randy back in here and see what we got, because there is a very distinctive issue going on here that's very real that we need to address. Let's see. Hello, Randy. No, not yet. Oh, dear. Randy isn't online. Okay, Randy, if you can hear me, buddy, don't worry about it. I want to talk to you. We're going to get you back here on the show. Anyway, let's try this out. Let's continue on with the show, and let's look at it from a different point of view. Let's look at it from the point of view of, like I'm always trying to tell Mark, the point of view from a person who is as certain about the data as Mark is, and is trying to ramrod now. And I'm going to be the first to confess that Dr. Mark employs ramrod tactics in his teaching. Dr. Mark, you cannot do that. Okay. There's a reason for that. All medical doctors know, and have known throughout the centuries of medical field, that a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. You cannot walk up to a sick child with a teaspoonful of oil and he said, what is that? And you say, oh, this is some nasty stuff, and when you take it, it's going to make you ick half to death. You don't want to tell a child that. You don't want to put it in their mouth and have it taste like a greasy spoon off of the bottom of somebody's shoe. You want it to have a little bit of flavor in it. You want it to look like something. You want it to be purple and all, And a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. There's a reason for that. And this is the same concept. This is what too often my comrade, my compatriot Mark, ignores. And I'm not singling him out. I just want you to understand that this is also the way a lot of flat earth researchers do it. And that's the reason why so many flat earth researchers are just strictly on YouTube and no other place. I mean, with a few exceptions, YouTube is a one-way forum. You put it out there, you leave it out there, and you don't even pay attention to what people are saying. Too often, these flat earth researchers and these YouTube producers do that. And I'm not going to name any names. I could sit here and throw out names for an hour of fraidy cat YouTube producers who their YouTube videos have been out there for almost a decade, and in all that time, not once has that person ever responded to one single comment on that video. I don't blame them. Very often when I make a YouTube video, I disable comments. And the reason is not because I do not invite pure inquest. Someone who has a genuine question, I shy away from that. I love that. But I shy away from those idiots who come out there and say, okay, if gravity isn't real, How come water don't float right up off of the ground? Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? By the way, I actually had a guy ask me that question, and I said to him, you're going to tell me that it's actually not easier for you to believe that water could stay flat on a flat surface that doesn't move. You're going to tell me it's easier for you to believe and accept that water is going to remain flat and motionless on a spinning ball? Honestly, friends, who's the dork here? You know, who comes into the flat Earth, into a flat Earth oriented group and says, I demand that you answer these questions? Who does that? I can tell you who. A person that's working for the opposition. A person who is strictly working for the opposition. This is why many of us are no longer allowing comments on. If you look down there, you might see a comment available on this particular video here. But ultimately, no more. And my reason for mentioning that, friends, is because we are not afraid of inviting public critique. And it's not that we're afraid of anything. We're just sick and tired. More along the lines of sick and tired. There are too many people in the Flat Earth Collective and any kind of truth movement whose only job is to confuse. They're just wanting to strip their confusion off of you and off of themselves, that is, and layer it onto you. Confusion, unlike stupidity, confusion is easily fixed. The only remedy that I can ever suggest for confusion is knowledge. And once you achieve knowledge, you will achieve wisdom. And once you achieve knowledge and wisdom, only then will you achieve any understanding. The apocryphal book of Thomas tells us to learn what it is that we're looking at, and only then will we know what it is we're seeing. And what does that mean? Let's apply that, for example, to the UFO phenomenon. Learn what it is that you're looking at, and only then you'll know what you're seeing. Learn what it is you're looking at, and only then will you know what it is you're seeing. Well, let's dissect that sentence. Let's start with the first part of it. Learn what it is what you're looking at. What is a UFO? We haven't got a clue. That's why we call it a UFO. The U designation in UFO is for unidentified. And by the way, that's a good description, because it's not that nobody knows what it is. It's just that we don't know. So that's what they mean by unidentified. Because somebody knows. You can bet that there's someone out there who knows exactly what that is that we're looking at. It's just that we don't know. And if you're just joining us, you're listening live to the Shadow Effect Show with Rick and Mark. I'm your host, Rick Lotek. And it's wonderful to see you out there. Hey, check it out on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. We are live right now. We got video going on YouTube. Not exactly the video that I wanted. I want to have the hosts and our guests both on the screen. So in other words, if you're looking on YouTube right now, this is what I want. See, there's going to be me right here. Then somewhere down here, where? Down there, yeah. You get this? Right here, where it says this is an encore presentation. Ignore that, because it's not. This is live. But somewhere around in here, there'll be my guest. And then, of course, you'll have all this neat Flat Earth Radio stuff that you see up here. And then way over there, there'll be something else cool. So that's what I wanted to have it, so kind of like the nightly news. You see what I'm saying? And as I want to thank you, Miss Fabrice, for the comment there. She says, it's wonderful to see you for the first time. I don't get to see her, but she sees what I look like. Yeah, it's kind of like, now, here's the thing, see, and I'm going to tell all my hosts this. All of our new potentially hosts, when they talk about coming out of the closet on the Flat Earth, we're going to give you a choice. You don't have to go full-on video and radio production as well, but if you want to, you can. That's the cool part about it. We're now 4 ways. We're on podcasts, and the podcast is audio only, by the way. I understand that there is a way to make podcasts audio and video, but we'll look into that eventually. Right now, we're doing good to be sending it out 4 ways. So welcome to the new high-tech world of the Lotek, of the Ferret. And you're looking at the what we call the Ferret format, which during, instead of what we used to call the general rotation, the Flat Earth music. And a lot of our listeners tell us right now, I've got 5 people now that tell us they like the music, the Flat Earth music. I've got people on the other chat over here that tell me that the Flat Earth music is their teaching mechanism. These people tell me that when they're teaching their family, friends, schoolmates, whatever, they just tell them, hey, stop arguing. Let's not argue. Listen to this. And then play a Flat Earth Man song, play one of Amber Plaster's songs, or any one of those tunes that come out from the Flat Smacking Boy, our man, from right here at Flat Earth Radio now, West Blaze, our new man on the station. Yeah. So, you want to talk about some Flat Earth music, we got it right here. And it's going to change. It's continuing to change. We've got so much technology now. I mean, just look around us. Look at all this stuff. I mean, we can fade to anything. We can fade to black. We can do. In fact, I've got one here. You got to see this and see if I can find it. It's President Trump's bedroom in his special bathroom. Where here it goes right there, where we can actually see him in the bathroom. Wait a minute, where's that at? I can't. Oh, I found it. No, I lost it. But anyway, of course you realize I'm just kidding. You can't do that. That's not legal. That's only legal for the president to do, for him to get pictures of your bathroom and you in there. Also, couple of reminders. Let's go to our reminders. We've got about 4 minutes before commercial. First of all, we got check it out. We got the short attention span theater up next. This is going to pretty much take up the time zone that used to be covered by the Rick Lotek show and the Lightning Strike show. So what we're doing is just moving up the 2 hours, making short attention span theater 4 hours long. Hang with me. Feel me? Hang with me. Because we do the music thing, we do the Flat Earth thing, we do all kind of stuff. I dance around on top of the keyboard nude and that kind of stuff. So you don't want to miss that. So stick around for Short Attention Span Theater with your host, Rick Lotek, starting at 10 o'clock. In 4 minutes. 3 minutes. So we'll just sit here and wait. No, actually, we can't do that. Also, tomorrow, remember, the weekend is West Stace Days. So check out West Stace right here on Saturday, starting at 2 o'clock and running till 4, and then starting again at 6 o'clock, running till 8. Schedule both the same for Saturday and Sunday. Never know what to expect with the West Stace show, so make sure that you show up, listen in. West Stace is the guy that brings us in touch with the community, because he's got the touch. I mean, he's got the connection with the community that we just couldn't get, we just couldn't find, we couldn't buy. So what we did was we kidnapped West Stace, and now we've got the connection to the community. No, actually, I'm just kidding. West Stace loves being with us. We love having West Stace with us, and he fits right in, right here in the Ferret. And if you've been listening to the Shadow Effect show for the last 2 hours, I want to thank you very much for that. Tune in again Monday. We'll try to get Randy Fisher in here because I've mentioned before how my intent is to have Randy Fisher to become a good part of our show. So don't think that Mark's done with him yet. I can deal with Randy. You know, Mark, I'll just keep him in the trunk where he belongs. And once again, welcome to the end of your first week in 2019. It's Friday. Now, your release, go out there and have a great weekend. Make sure that you don't do nothing that would prevent you from being back here on Monday at the same flat time, the same flat channel, right here on Flat Earth Radio Live, The Ferret. And until that time, we'll catch you later. For my host, Mark Hollander, who's out there trying to gather together some more entertainment for us by the way of Randy Jackson. So we want to get Randy Jackson back on here. Those of you who don't follow the show regular, we've had Randy Jackson on here once, and we've been promising to get him back on for a second appearance, and we're going to keep working on that. Randy Jackson, who's that? Zebra! Randy Jackson and Zebra. By the way, speaking of Randy Jackson and Zebra, stay tuned for Short Attention Span Theater and experience some of that Randy Jackson music. And the only place you're going to find that is right here on FlatEarthRadioLive.com, The Ferret. Stay tuned up next for Short Attention Span Theater. And thanks for listening in. This is Rick Lotek on behalf of Mark Hollander. We'll catch you again some other time and place if the Lord is willing. And you guys be careful out there. We'll talk to you later. Fucking Mark.